my only experience with Bone Thugs-n-Harmony was Battle Cat picked me up when I got out of prison and took me to get a birthday gift for my daughter, and I'm running these niggas with all red on, this Cleveland shit. And Lazy Bone tells this story on how Thug was born, where I see them, I hear irritating ass Byron, Busy Bone, rattling, and I'm like, I'm robbing these niggas on Crip, I'm robbing them, period. And Battle Cat's like, nah, man, I'm fucking with these dudes.
This is they're not signed to Ruthless.
No, they're on Ruthless. No, they're out by now, I'm sorry, because now we're talking 98, because I'm out of prison.
Yeah,
no, they're big.
Yeah.
So I walk down an aisle, see Lazy Bone, I'm like, Coach, that's 6-0 Crip, like Lazy Bone was like, nothing. So he turns, long story short, Sacco's telling the story, Crazy Bone's battling the story, like, yo, we met that dude, blah, 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 he was gonna rob us. And I did a song with Sacco called Cheddar. And Crazy Bone hears it, he's like, yo, I like that. Crazy Bone was real smart, he also wanted to end with the Rolling 60s. Crazy Bone gets on the song. This is during when Crazy Bone's getting 50 to 100,000 a verse. Steve Lobel, the manager, hears about this song. Slaps Sacco, hits him on the head with a bottle. Yo, I'm fucking mafia. And this is a known story that Demizza talks about it. Remember, he tells you in his story, like, he says something about the Rolling 60s, and he said, fuck the Rolling 60s, and fuck this guy.
Oh, Steve Lobel acts like that?
Yes. So, and I'm older now, Steve, do your thing. We're not knowing who Steve Lobel is, because again, we don't really know the Bone thing. That's huge, but we're still on Rodney O and Joe Cooley and, NWA. And somewhere in the mix, he says, yo, fucking Terror Squad, Mafia, fuck Rolling 60s. Sacco tells me, while I'm still in, I call Black, I won't say no names, I call the homies. Do you remember Caffeine? The rapper Caffeine?
Oh, super vaguely.
Remember Minister Society? Hey, partner.
Yeah.
Why you dogging my? So they're doing a record release party a single release party for Caffeine.
Where's he at now?
I'm clueless. I haven't seen him since the Source Awards. Yeah, haven't seen him since the Source Awards. So we find out that Steve's gonna be there, and I sent a few of the homies. They beat the brakes off of Steve Lobel and Saeed. Beat the brakes off them. Like, middle of the street, Molly, just bad. Steve gets his ass whooped real bad, and the next day, remember, I get out of the halfway house from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Well, I hear Bone is gonna be at the studio at 3 o'clock. Guess who's sitting in Studio A when Steve walks in? Shit straight out of a movie, me. I'm in a wheelchair. Past this time, I get shot. And he walks in, I'm like, yeah, I'm Cass. Well, you said fuck 60, blah, blah, blah. Yo, I didn't mean it. He always looks at his shoes. Anybody knows Steve, he always looks at his shoes. He got some fucking Tourette, I don't fucking know. And I'm like, yo, you gonna clear this fucking song. Because they're like crazy, the least we'll do it for 40 G's. I'm like, yo, you're not getting $40. To this day, his lawyer will tell you, this motherfucking Crip nigga showed up in a wheelchair with Mariah Carey's brother, Morgan Carey, and I signed off on the clearance of Crazy Bone.
My name is Damian Young. I produce under the name of Demizza. I started in radio when I was 12 years old, developed what is basically called the alternative format, broke acts like Nirvana, Hootie and the Blowfish, Collective Soul, Stone Temple Pilots, all of that kind of stuff. In 1997, I came to work at Power 106 in Los Angeles as the music director, one of the youngest music directors ever in the history of major market radio.
Well, as far as Demizza, you got to understand, he broke records. He broke Ja Rule. He broke Biggie. He broke Puffy. He broke
and broke
Eminem.
means he was the one who believed in it and told the higher up we need to play.
Well, basically, because what you're dealing with Power 106 and Hot 97 at the time was the #1 and 2 stations, hip hop stations in the country. Okay, so basically they dictated everything that was playing on the airways. So you say Power 106, realistically to this day, dictates from like here to Chicago. Well, I'll say here to Chicago, all the way from Texas, all the way down. So that's part of the West Coast. And Hot 97 basically dictate Boston all the way down to the, Chicago. So it's a split. So Power 106 have one half, Hot 97 has the other.
I was probably about 20. And I ran Power 106, and they gave me Hot 97 and 32 stations in the middle. Power 106 is in Los Angeles. Hot 97 is the #1 radio station in New York. Well, I met Reg in passing a couple of times, you know, just here and there, but there was one night in particular where, how would you say, gang politics and music business politics were about to collide.
I invite them to a party. I invite Steve. That week, I go up to Power 106 to do like, hey, you have a new music day on Tuesday. They don't want to see me. Demizza comes out of the parking lot in this beautiful 745i BMW, purple, tan interior, and Sokka was like, yo, Demizza. Demizza stops, rolls down his window, and he's like, what's up? He's like, yo, it's Cass. He goes, and? Demizza's the man at this time. Well, I'm in my Tahoe, so he doesn't see that I'm in a wheelchair. But Sokka gets out, and he's like, what? Who? He? Submit your music just like everybody else, man. It's like, fuck you, Sokka. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill him.
Demizza was at a party at a Mexican restaurant in Swiss, I think, that Studio City or
North Hollywood?
North Hollywood. Yeah, it'd be North Hollywood. And I was just happened to go up there one night where I was walking into the club, and I've noticed it was some guys in the back on how they used to, you know, how the restaurant was structured. You can like kind of see it looked like a little alley. And I looked back there and I recognized, you know, somebody out there. So, you know, I went back there to check it out, and they had, you know, 2 white kids basically laid down about to do something to them. And I recognized Demizza, and, you know, I recognized the other guy with him.
Some well-known hardcore street guys.
Basically, yes. You know, I'm not going to say no names.
Well, obviously, but they were people who were serious
people. Very serious people, and
music executive thought that it was more Hollywood than not to say things about other entities that he knew nothing about.
And where was this happening?
In a dim lit Mexican restaurant.
Where?
In Burbank, of all places.
Oh, wow.
But it's kind of funny because it was like a major pop star that I was working with at the time. Her brother was managing a gang member. So she asked me to go to the meeting. I went with somebody who was a manager in the business of another act.
You were going as an arbiter?
No, I was going as just to support the act for a friend. You know what I mean? Like, you're the music director of Power. Will you go to this thing? This guy just got shot up. He's in a wheelchair. You know, will you go to this? My brother's managing him. Yeah. So that's how that happened.
You won't say who it is.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm at the party, and they're like, yo, that dude Demizza's here. And I'm like, tell him I want to interview up at Power 106 with the Goodfellas. Remember the Goodfellas? And Tito. And I see them talking to him, and he's like looking at Steve. You could just tell his verbiage is like, fuck that, I'm not here for this, da-da-da.
That's where the bishop, well, what happened was apparently had said something about or they had heard that. So they showed up at the party because he happened to be there with me, and we're going to shoot both of us just because I happened to be there.
when I walked up to the situation, basically what I did, I pulled Demizza and the other guy to the side and told him to get out of here.
And the other guy's somebody who, without saying his name, he's somebody, if you said his name, we'd know.
Yeah, if you guys said his name, you'll know.
A New York guy.
A New York guy.
And I handed somebody a butter knife and I said, go hurt him so badly with this butter knife. I could have had a steak knife. I wrapped up a napkin of a butter knife. I wrapped the butter knife in a napkin and I said, stab him with this butter knife. You know how painful it is to get stabbed with a butter knife?
Don't.
It's like getting hit with a very skinny brick. A steak knife has edges.
Yeah.
A butter knife is like getting hit with a big ass thick screwdriver. And Demizza, when he tells the story, he's like, yo, he came up, he's gonna stab me. And I said, stab him with this fucking this butter knife. And Reg is like, yo.
Oh.
So everybody covered the doors. Big Reg walks in, sees me and sitting there and goes, oh, hell no, hold on. and says, "You two white boys get in the car." And I knew nothing about gangbanging, so I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm talking shit the whole way out.
They have paid someone to have Demizza play their records, and it didn't happen. So
And he's just like, "Shut up, shut up." And then finally, the guy came up. He started saying like, "Oh, you work at the Beat. You don't play West Coast music." And I started getting mad. So then I started talking shit back to him, and I didn't realize he was holding.
Could that have meant the money never got to Demizza?
well, Demizza wasn't the type of guy where you can pay him to do anything. He wasn't aware of the situation at the time.
The songs that you were gonna program obviously is gonna generate money in the coffers of those artists.
Right.
So you have real, reputable, powerful LA gangs.
Trying to get into the entertainment business at the time.
So in getting someone like you, whether it was through legitimate business or intimidation, to play their records has a big financial.
And from that point, me and Damien established a relationship, and he became a good friend of mine.
Yeah, and Reg, literally, I was trying to figure it out, and he kept telling me I'm crazy because I invited the motherfucker to lunch the next day. And I said, "I want to sit down with you and figure out why you wanted to kill me." So I sat him down and asked him about gang politics in and out.
And
Because I knew this is what I was going to have to deal
right,
with.
what year was this?
97, 98?
And that Monday, I was at Power 106 doing an interview in a wheelchair, playing a Battle Cat single I had called Flossin' with Mariah Carey's brother.
So did you get a good understanding of?
Oh, yeah. So did he.
And a mutual agreement. was
Mutual respect was, from then on, beautiful.
I loved that. That dude was the godfather of my children. All of them. Demizza.
Oh, you guys got that cool.
We became this. We became. See, I wasn't a heartless dude. I was just, you gon' do this.